And a oldie moldy, I mean an oldie goldie, Mr. David Kaye.
Do we go? Oh.
Hi, everybody.
You know, this is interesting because the first Botcon we ever did, her and I were the very first one we went to. Remember Rochester?
That's right.
97?
That's right.
Yeah.
That was many, many years ago.
Yeah, many years ago. 20 actually, no. Is it 20? 19.
Yeah, because I was 16.
So you were 16 years old?
Yeah, 16,
And
yeah.
I was 21. Yeah, so format is, I'd like to answer as many questions as possible. You know, so if you have any questions, please raise your hand and shout out.
Right there. Yeah.
Well, just a quick question. After all, for David, after all these years of doing Beast Wars Megatron and being associated with the character and all that, has saying yes ever become weird to you? Like when you're at a restaurant.
Hang on, whoa, stop.
Okay, so for David,
Yes.
for doing Beast Wars Megatron for so many years now.
Nope. So saying yes become tiring? No. It never will. But no, go ahead.
Here we go.
Here we go. This actually may be it.
I mean, you know, saying yes so often. Say you're at like a fast food restaurant and they ask you for one fries, and you order this excellent, and like, yes.
So the question was,
Is it hard to say
Say you're at a
yes?
fast food
oh,
restaurant.
do I ever speak like Megatron outside
Just
of?
by accident, and you just go like,
No.
Can I interrupt? I know the answer to that. He does, because anytime his wife asks him for anything, he says,
Yes.
Not really a question. I just want to say thank you both for coming. I was pronounced your last name wrong. Terzo? Your last name, Venus? I always mispronounce it.
me?
Yeah.
My last name?
Yeah.
Terzo.
Terzo. Okay. I remember the second year you came, which was Scott, and all three of y'all were up there, and it was just, the chemistry between y'all was just incredible. I just wanted to thank y'all both for coming again. I thank you for making Blackarachnia one of the standout characters of Beast Wars. I love the character. Thank you much. And for you, Mr. Kaye, I don't know if you thought about this, but you are the Megatron for an entire generation, like Frank Welker was for me. So I don't know if you thought about that. I did not long ago. So you are Megatron for an entire new generation of fans, and just thank you both for all the hard work on the show and since then, and thank you for coming to the show.
Oh, thank you very much. That's why we do this, because of you guys. I mean, you know, when I started, and Venus and I started this show, we had really no idea. I knew of the Transformers, the G1 as a kid. I grew up on other cartoons. And when the first time I met Frank and worked with Peter in the same room, that was pretty cool. Actually, when that happened, a vortex opened up and...
What are you guys doing? You're gonna blow up the universe!
That was pretty cool. But yeah, to hear my name along with the name Frank Welker and Peter Cullen is kind of mind-blowing to me. You know, I just wanted to do voices at one time. I just wanted to hang with you guys.
Well,
Yeah.
it was an opportunity for a lot of actors in Vancouver when we were introduced to voice work, cartoon voice work. They came over and brought their talented writers and directors and taught us like a whole new genre of acting, because we had trained in theater, we had done a lot of film and TV stuff, but to you know, walk into the studio and become these characters that, I mean, sustain, you know, their greatness for so many years is incredible, and it was an incredible opportunity for us. And I mean, this room speaks volumes to me about you know, the fan base and how wonderful it is to work on a show that you get people that come out to see you and want to meet you and talk to you and appreciate what you do. As an actor, that's very rewarding. So thanks, you guys. Really appreciate it.
I have a question for you. Who do you imitate from the cast? Do you imitate anybody from the cast? The original cast?
I will. Gary, Gary.
Gary, you put my finger.
Actually, I just ran into Chalkster before I came over here. Chalkster lives across the beach in this beautiful house with his new wife in Vancouver, and I usually walk my dog at Kids Point, so just ran into him the other day. Yeah. He couldn't make it because he's been working lots and he's working on a TV series out there.
I'm on a film. I play a big monkey. Maybe big monkey. And wasn't Alec Willows supposed to be? Was he supposed to be?
He was supposed to be, yeah. And
Yeah.
Scotty too. Scott, yeah.
We always used to make fun of. Not make fun of it, but we used to, you know, when you do each other's voices and screw around, it's out of love. And I think Scotty was one of our favorites to all. We always like to order drive-through as Scott McNeil. That whole story. So, yeah, can I get a hang on one more time? Can I get a hang on one more time? Can I? No. Hang on.
That's true. He wanted to, you know, take after take.
Yeah, one more for Scott. Alec Willows used to creep me out. He's like, standing behind the microphone. That dude, a little straight. But I remember Alec, he had heart issues at one time. Remember he was in the hospital? I went to see him in the hospital many years ago, and I thought, I walked in, it was so great to see him, but I didn't know how serious it was, and he's back and doing his thing, and that was,
He's doing much better.
Yeah.
He's doing much better.
Scary.
I think one of the fun things about working in the studio with you guys, because we did so many shows, was to try to control ourselves. Because we
It was impossible.
It was, yeah, we just, half the time, you're in a dark studio and you've got the director and the crew on the other side of the glass, and you're sitting there and sometimes you like crumple up paper and you like whip it at each other and try not to make noise, recording and stuff.
Jim Burns would come in and tell, first thing in the morning he'd come in, I don't know if you know Jimmy Burns' Inferno.
Yeah.
You know, you're a smart queen, stop calling me that whole. Jim has the dirtiest mind ever. He would start off with just the worst joke. Some real, I can't even start. Jim, it's 8:30. Yeah, I know, I gotta be with stop talking.
And the studio we used to record in was Pinewood. And
demolished now,
it's
right?
demolished. It's no longer there. And it was such a cool building. It was class.
Yeah, it was.
It had a good vibe to it, and it's too bad. I think it's condos now.
Yeah, that's how you can tell you're getting old when things start to turn into
Into
condos.
condos.
That building there is the radio station your father worked at. We used to record a cartoon called Beast War, isn't it?
Yeah, really, honestly, I never thought. Yeah. Any more questions?
Yeah, we got one right here.
Yeah.
Hey there.
Hey.
So, just real quick, I want to start off by saying, love you guys, love your work. You guys were my favorites. And the next thing I was going to say is, as someone who's trying to break into the field of voice acting, what advice would you give them?
Well, are you an actor? Have you studied acting?
As far as voice work has gone, I've worked in the field of radio and I've studied broadcasting and stuff like that.
Okay,
I'm hoping to give myself a bit of a background.
Yeah, I think a base for anything is extremely important. So if you're into broadcasting, so you have an idea of what it's like and to work with a microphone and placement of your face when you're doing the dialogue and stuff like that, is just make a voice demo tape You know, if you have got a few characters or a few voices that you're comfortable with that are really strong, I would do what, like a 2-minute, 3-minute cartoon voice tape, and put your strongest voices at the beginning, and then submit them to like agencies or local agents. I don't know if you have, depending on where you live, if there's like a film, if there's an area where they actually do voice work, you know, try to get an agent. An agent would be another way to go about it.
Who's ever doing the baby voice right now is awesome. That's really great. That's incredible.
Well, I think having an agent, someone to represent you, putting together a voice tape, and basically just getting some experience, right? And I think as an actor or as a voice actor, you still have to have a really good base, like a good foundation of how to build a character, how to pick apart a script, and you know, I'm sure you're creative in your own right. So I think, you know, you've got a good head start, and it's just about being persistent. And if it's something that you love, you never know. Good things could happen.
And just use your own voice. Don't. One of the things that people do sometimes is trying to put on something, trying to do too much. You know, and you have to just say, do too much. That's all you need. You don't need to do, you know, everything. Just practice on doing that, because you really have to find your own voice in your work and not somebody else's. For so many years, I was trying to do somebody else. I used to be in radio, you know, until it was one night I was doing the show, and it was a radio show playing music, and it was at midnight. I was very young, and I was doing these Letterman bits because I was a big fan of Letterman back in the day. And somebody called up and said, "Stop doing David Letterman!" Hung up on me. And you know, I look back and he's right. Do your thing, whatever that is. You know, the toughest thing to do is to be ourselves. The cool thing is, you know, James Arnold Taylor, who plays Ratchet, and Ratchet and Clank, the film comes out soon, and we're doing it. And and James is the first time it's his voice. It's just him, and it's the toughest thing. He's very vulnerable. And I get to hide behind the little Clank voice. I get to do other things. I get to be some, you know. But your own voice is the scariest thing to do. So just find that.
Thanks very much.
Go for someone over in the center.
Dramatic pause.
Love both your work. Actually, my introduction to you guys' work was Ron 1/2.
Oh, Rama.
Were you in that?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was wrong.
I didn't know. For 7 years, I had no idea who else was in it.
Well, you know why? Because that's ADR. So
Yeah, we never saw each other.
We never saw each other. Yeah. Female Rama.
You were female?
Yeah.
Sarah Strain was male wrong for the first few seasons.
Yeah.
I was just curious, what was the inspiration for your respective characters in Beast Wars? What you drew for Megatron and Blackarachnia, respectively?
Yeah.
Well, like any character, you get a description, usually a pretty good one, especially when the producers and director are in the room. They show you prints of like what they want the character to look like. It's still in the beginning stages. When we first started, remember they had like some drawings and stuff like that, very rough copies, drafts and stuff. So you look at it and then you kind of take the dialogue and you kind of try to figure out a way to bring something to the table, something that's different that might stand out. And we had the opportunity to work with Sue Blue, and she's a wonderful actor's director. Because she's also a voice actress and has so many years of experience and knows what works and what doesn't. And she worked really hard with all of us to fine-tune the characters. And so I think it's organic. It just happens. You just try different things. She's like, oh yeah, I like that. Okay, now go back to that and try it like this and try. You know what I mean? So it's not just my creative process. It's a combination. It's a team effort. And they pick the things that they like. And I'm sure with David, the same, especially for key phrases and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know if you've all heard the story about how I come up with it. Sometimes, you get pieces of copy, or and you look at it and you stress over it, you work on it. Other times, I look at something and just start talking, and for whatever reason, that seems to work. And for the Transformers, the Megatron, the Beast Wars things seem to just kind of happen. In my head, it was a combination that you've heard as Anthony Hopkins, Sean Connery, and a lizard. What would they sound like? And that's how you get a bit of the S-suitance, and you start kind of playing around with that, and then the different things sort of would come out with Sue's encouragement, or
Yeah, that's good. Let's use that. Yeah, keep that. Keep that. Scotty, shut up, Scotty.
and then sort of it evolves. Like when Homer Simpson sounded way different than he does now. It's just you kind of fall into it. My Optimus Prime was, they wanted him to say younger, and I wasn't comfortable. And finally, about 5, 6, 7 episodes in, I kind of settled into the Prime voice. It's mostly my voice, but it's like selling into like a new car. You kind of then you start to get heated up, and
Yeah, you sounded like a late-back Sesshomaru.
That's right. That's right, exactly.
Well, thank you for a sane answer. I asked this question to Scott years ago, and just went into a rant of all his characters.
As expected. Don't.
We got another question over here.
Yes.
Hi Scott, hi Venus.
Hi.
I was also at Botcon 97.
Hi, Scott.
I know
Oh,
Too much bourbon last night. I saw you at the table.
his middle name is Scott.
No.
all right, I'm going to blame it on the last question. All right, prices are very good. I was also at Botcon 97, and I want to say I think you two were the first voice actors who were at a Botcon.
Is that right?
Is that right?
Yeah?
In Rochester? Yeah.
Rochester, right?
Yeah, Rochester.
Yeah, no actors before then, so that makes you two diverse.
I like that. That's a good piece of trivia. In case we ever have another Botcon and we have like trivia questions.
You remember the toy guys? George Bosnos? Remember those guys? Yeah.
And in commemoration of that, I guess, I have things for you.
Oh, there's gifts?
Yes, there are.
Oh, really? Cool.
These are legal papers.
$1,000.
It's a bowling ball.
This is what we look at on this before.
Oh, cool.
It's the original television, courtesy of me, it's the original television series press kit, and courtesy of Ben Yee are 2 scripts apiece from the episodes.
Oh, thank you so much.
Man, thank you guys. Hey, is that you? Were you the Predacon computer? Who was that?
No, that was Carol.
Carol said.
We will create Bolton forms against the most powerful local creatures. Yeah, rhinoceros. Wow. Okay, to do Scotty's voice.
I know how David keeps razzing Scotty, but the reality is, when a new character for Beast Wars would be introduced, obviously it was male, and all the men in the room would, do their best to try to win that role, right? So they all bugged Scotty because Scotty got what? How many voices? 4?
18.
5? 4. So and he was just he's one of those actors that can just work it and it works. Do you know what I mean? It works for him. He was working it really hard, David.
Next question. Over here.
Hi, David. It's an honor to see you. Also, I'm a huge fan of you, by the way. Venus.
Scotty. Oh, sorry, Venus.
It's an honor to finally meet you, and this is for David. If you were to switch roles with Megatron and Shishomaru, like say for instance, Sylvie, so we meet again, brother. And you just see like Megatron as Shoshoro's voice saying, so we meet again, Pride. So we meet again, Pride.
You're doing a pretty good job right now.
Well, you should see me earlier when we were waiting for one of our fans to be working her video. I was doing Beast Wars Megatron. Yeah.
So, did you want, was there,
I was just wondering if you can like switch the roles, like you see,
switch, I mean, actually think?
like say, no, I mean,
I realize I have jet lag that have not slept in 2 days.
like for instance, like you see like Megatron using with Shoshoro's voice, and then you see.
Oh, I don't know. I have no idea. God, I can't think. See, Scotty would have a show. Me, I need words. So let me think about that for a second. I need to write something. If you write something down, I'll say something.
Or I can just say the line for you. Like the line is, so we become primal. I mean, Shoshoro's voice.
So it's Shoshoro's voice?
Yeah.
So we meet again, primal. Like that?
Yeah, and then like for Megatron's voice, so we become brother.
So we meet again, brother.
Thank you so much.
Spoon fed.
Shut up, Johnny!
Oh yeah. Shut up, John. Alright. 7 years we did that. I didn't know you were the female. No, that was.
Well, it was Bricky. It was.
No, you were in Inuyasha?
I was in Inuyasha too.
You were in Inuyasha too?
I can't remember.
Yes.
Hey, follow-up question, a little question, is I had the pleasure of talking to Gary Chalk, one of the years he was there, about his work in ADR not long after our live started. And you and Gary and everybody has talked about ADR back then for Armada and John when you were doing the roles. Has doing ADR work gotten better for voice actors with the technology? And also, and I asked him this question, do y'all have more power per se over the characters? If you're reading a script and your character is just written really badly and you know this character would not do X, Y, Z, do you have a little more power to say, hey look, if we're going to do this, we need to do it like this because X?
They encourage that sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, it's not about power. It's about trying to make it better or trying to make it true to your characters. So depending on the show, for ADR, we always do rewrites because most of the times it's a Japanese show that we're dubbing into English. So depending on the movements of the character, the mouth movements, like you have to be able to fit the dialogue in. And sometimes when it makes sense to say it a certain way in English, it just doesn't fit. So you just kind of shorten it or you figure out a way that it does work. And usually the writers are pretty spot on regarding your character, and if they're not, like if they say a word like, I don't know if you want to say like, oh, cool, or instead of saying, oh, that's rad, you know what I mean? It's like, absolutely, you would be able to switch it. The director has that power, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they'd also give you an opportunity to say, yeah, let's try that way.
Yeah.
And you had a question, ADR, has it gotten different or easier?
Has ADR with the technology, is it easier for you to, because usually y'all
Used to, Gary said that it was very hard sometimes and frustrating to get everything to match up, and the process was a little difficult because just getting the mouth flaps to match up and everything else. With the technology, is it easier for you to do ADR now than it was doing, let's say, Armada and Energon?
I haven't done it for years, only to live action stuff recently, but I haven't done it for a long time, so I don't.
Well, it used to be like dependent. Like sometimes you would have like the on screen you would have a line, and as soon as the line would hit the end of the picture, then you would begin your dialogue. Whereas for many years now we've had the beeps, and the beeps work. Usually you get 3 beeps and then you begin speaking. But it's an art. There's an art to ADR, believe it or not. It's just to be able to focus, like remember your line and then look at the character and try to match the mouth movements. That's the difference. When you're doing prelay, you're looking at your script the whole time because you have to you know, facing the microphone. But when you're doing ADR, you're kind of like shifting your focus from your script to the screen. So that takes a little bit of timing, but we've done so much of it that whether the technology's gotten better, I think it's pretty much the same except for the beeps work. At the beginning, we used to do some stuff where we had, like I said, you had that line, and that was a bit tougher, but that was very old school, and that was, I won't tell you how many years ago, but a few years ago.
I like it when there's no lip flaps and there's just speaking.
That usually means your character's off screen.
Yeah, it's an off screen. I love that part.
The show could have been as amazing as it was without your talents. And my question is, 'cause the show really, in many ways, could have been a huge disaster. It took a lot of gambles, had a lot of, you know, interesting story choices and comedy and so many things that worked really well, but there were so many points at which anything could go wrong and it could have been a huge disaster. I'm just curious if you had any glimpses at the early stages of Beast Wars when it was, you know, sort of early development, and saw any choices or decisions where it could have gone a completely different direction.
Honestly, I don't know. I was just kind of blown away. I was casting something. I think we remember the first time we saw some of the computer rendering, and then you look at it now, you're like, wow, that's, you know, it kind of looks a little bit lame now.
It looks ancient.
Like
Yeah, now it looks ancient, but back then it was so cool.
Yeah, we sat in the studio, they put the lights down, they showed us and stuff, and we were like, oh man, this is,
It looks amazing.
it's kind of blew us away. So we knew there was something special about it. As far as, you know, the show, the different direction, I mean, not everybody's going to like everything. There are fans that will not be fans of Beast Wars because they were on G1, and that's just all there is to it. You know, I didn't know too much about where the show was headed. I just knew after a few seasons, I thought, oh, this is kind of cool. Otherwise, I didn't read too much into it until years later doing conventions, and you realize sort of the impact it has on people. When people say about, you know, voice of the generation of fans, or I grew up on you on cartoons on Saturday morning, that's kind of, whoa, you know, you don't really see that at the time you're doing it. You look back on it now and you go, I guess it was kind of special. So, but I've taken it in a different direction. I don't know.
I think there's just something really cool, special, and magical about cartoons, because it doesn't matter what year they were made. It means something different to different people, right? And it, depending on, you know, how old you were and when you first started watching it, if something, you know, you connect with something, or something speaks to you and you enjoy watching that show, it'll always be a great show, no matter when it was made, or what the, you know, the animation is, or what the subject matter is. If it's, you know, if it's a good show, it's a good show to you. It's a personal thing, I think.
Yeah. That makes sense?
Yeah, thank you.
Hi, I was just wondering, with all the different voice talents that you do, when you're reading to your children at night or stories and stuff, do you tend to throw in your voices when you're reading to your story, reading a story to your child or grandchildren or whatever you may have?
Oh my. Great grandchildren.
Grandpa Dave,
Come on.
what do you say to that?
No, not yet. He's just told me to shut up. I don't know, the only other thing, I remember, not so much in that, but my son would come home quite a while ago and say, "Yeah, the video game, my friends want to hear your voice." And I'd do the voice for them, but it was usually around Christmas time. I'd get out the Christmas Carol book. I used to like, I do the voices of some of the characters from Charles Dickens, because I kind of like the old English sort of thing, how, you know, we do that. And I do the voice of Santa Claus, and that was the only time I really did voices at home. Otherwise, I was just annoying. Sometimes I stand in the studio or in the car, and I just start talking, and I'll come up with something. But if you do that out in public, you know.
I know I don't have kids, but I have a dog, and he hears all my voices. Anytime I include the word treat, she loves it. It doesn't matter how I say it.
Same with my kids.
Another one over here.
Good afternoon. For David, do you remember the recording sessions from Key, the Metal Idol, the anime series? With Don Brown and David Sokolov?
Don Brown, yeah. I forgot my keys. Where's my car? I left my car somewhere and I can't find it.
David Sokolov. I work with David on Guardians of the Galaxy and some Ben 10 stuff, and yeah, him and I worked together for a few. He's such a great guy. The most gentle soul with the deepest voice in the world. And I mean, he's trying to do like a younger voice recently in a session. Hey, Graham, doing this. Just give him a quick. He literally can't get higher than a low E or something. Unbelievable. And so the question was, I'm doing a Scotty, sorry.
The recording sessions from that anime series.
Key the Metal Idol.
You were Tomoyo Wakagi.
In anime, when I used to live up in Vancouver, I never saw, we used to go in and do our thing and leave. We never really saw anyone. Like a perfect example, I didn't know she was in shows that I was. We did 7 years of it, 7 seasons or whatever it was. So you don't really see other people. I remember doing it. Vaguely. So I could have grandkids, according to how mine goes.
Hi, nice to see you guys again.
Too.
For your voicemail, do you ever use your characters or voices for your voicemail?
Oh, for a voicemail?
Yes. And your phones?
Yeah.
Oh,
like, do you ever use any of your characters?
I'm so bad. I think my voicemail recording is from I don't know how many years ago. I think it's as old as my phone, and I have an old phone. So yeah, no, I don't change it very often. I just do it once, and it's very just simple, and I almost don't like it. I don't know, it's so weird. But that's actually a good idea. Maybe I will put
you should.
a character voice on it, because you know what? That'll definitely keep certain people away that you don't want them to be voicing. It'll scare them.
Blackarachnia's voice, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
What would you say?
This is Blackarachnia. Leave me alone.
What about me? I just have standard. I say the K, just so they get a message. I go so fast, people don't know what, they don't know what I said half the time. And when I did Happy Gilmore, the movie, I actually had to change my voicemail at one time. That was long ago, it had those giant phones, those mobile phones.
Yeah.
I had a Happy Gilmore voice, Shooter McGavin. I did something, I can't remember what it was, but from time to time, I'll do something stupid. Leave a message. That would be it. Where were we? Yeah.
This is not really a question, but I just have something to give you guys.
Oh, more presents?
Yes.
Another $1,000.
What's your name?
My name is Victoria.
Nice to meet you, Victoria.
Hey, Victoria. Oh, cool.
Oh, wow.
Some of the art you guys is
So
amazing.
talented.
It's-
Wow. I can see that. Wow.
I couldn't even draw a stick figure. Blows me away.
You have to come back and sign it for me. You gotta come back and sign it for me later.
I think we have to.
Okay. That's beautiful.
Yes.
I was just wondering, out of your career, I'm sure there was some role that you were really excited about, or some voice that you really had come up with and were thrilled with, and it just didn't happen. Is there some role that has always kind of stood out, like, man, I wish I'd gotten that, or some voice you always wanted to use? Can you tell us about that or give us a sample?
Venus has a story.
Well, it's something along those lines. It wasn't like a part that I wanted. I want every part that I auditioned for. I want every part. Okay? As an actor, it's like, I'm not generous that way. But there was one show, and I think the character was Cuddles. And we all have our strengths and weaknesses as actors. And there was one particular where I had to play like a young boy, and I'm not very good with young boy voices. Some people are. And I got cast in it, and I did a few episodes, and then I got fired. I know, right? So, but that's the way it goes, because they weren't getting what they needed. So that was kind of, But everything else that I've auditioned for and I've gotten, I'm obviously very grateful for. I guess sometimes, I don't know, maybe.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Have you ever auditioned for any roles that you've really wanted and gotten, or?
Yes, a few times. And the one series I would love to have done was Monsters Inc. Was it Monsters Inc? I doubled the voice for Will Arnett on commercials and some toys and video games. Because I got real close to his voice and they cast me, but when it came to the series, it was like a lock, right?
Everybody has done the commercials, has gone out, do the vitamin, and the agents sound like,
and I thought, they brought me in, I read, they all laughed, nothing is so wonderful. And then ended up, Diedrich Bader, who I know Diedrich, and he's freaking awesome, he ended up getting a role. So they didn't quite want to Will, and it sounded like Diedrich brought his own thing to that. It was his own deal. And the Will he's kind of, I don't know, it's that sort of thing, whatever he did like that. He was just talking to the monster. What was the name of the monster? What was it? Missing Link, yeah. The Missing Link, yeah. It was just like that sort of thing, whatever. And I did my version of Will Arnett, and Diedrich was doing a great job. So I kind of wanted that one. But honestly, everything I've gotten, I was just thrilled with to be even in the same conversation with, So otherwise, I'm pretty happy. Okay. Yes.
Oh, hello. Anyway, I have the ultimate question for the both of you. Okay, now, the question goes as this. If Megatron and Blackarachnia...
Is it going to take 1 to 5 minutes? That's all we have left.
No! This is actually a good one.
4 minutes.
Go ahead.
If Megatron and Blackarachnia were dating, how would the day go?
On a date?
Yes. How would it work?
Well, of course, Blackarachnia is in control, so the date would go very well.
Blackarachnia, it's Megatron calling. You may remember me from, the Beast Wars thing. We do the Predacons, transform, roll out.
Maggie, darling, I'm sorry. I'm just in the middle of something. Oh, be careful. Yes. No, pink. Pink on my right toe. Yes, thank you. I was thinking, remember when you took me last time to that fancy restaurant?
Yes.
You made a complete fool of yourself after you spilled the red wine all over my outfit.
I must say it was excellent.
Well, I would like you to make a reservation so that I can go there with my new boyfriend.
Optimus Prime. Again. Foiled again.
Actually, I was thinking more the lines of Silverbolt.
Or was that if you call him Silver Dolt?
I just call him Sil.
There.
You
both made my day. Don't
Thank you very
lie.
much.
Love you both.
Love you too.
Stay awesome.
You too. Thank you for the question.
All right, we got time for one more. I saw someone in the back a while ago.
Anybody here from Canada? Hey. You know, I used to be from there. Became a U.S. citizen about 2 months ago.
Oh, did you?
We did the Ben 10 Omniverse, and I got a chance to use I finally used my Canadian voice because it's the voice of my Uncle Terry. And you remember, the Ben 10 Omniverse was Sock Squatch. I don't know if you remember. That was based on. So I just wanted to say hello to everybody. And it's great you're here, eh? Oh, fantastic, great. So thank you for coming. It was over here.
I was down at the end there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am not actually familiar with any of your work, ma'am, but
It's okay, wait. The rest of the people.
I'm only with Blackarachnia, that's about it. I actually just recently learned that you did any anime work. I also just recently learned that David Kaye did Shishomaru. Yeah, over in the club room thing. But my question is, I know that you like to make fun of Scott, but I know you've at least worked on 2 things that I've seen both of you in. Do you guys ever just talk to each other outside of work?
When we see each other, we do. I mean, you mean call and hook up? No, because like David lives in LA, I live in Vancouver. There's a few voice actors. I saw Ian Corlett not long ago.
He's bugging me now. He's living in LA part of time.
Oh, is he living in part?
Yeah.
I ran into him and his wife in my neighborhood. I ran into, like I said, Gary Chalk not long ago. I haven't seen Scotty for a while. So it depends, and sometimes we'll see each other on auditions and stuff, or when we're actually working on projects. But we're so busy and we lead such different lives. It's pretty hard. It's difficult to just get together. But that's why we want to thank the organizers of this year's Botcon, because it's 20 years, and I mean, after so many years, we got to see each other and see all of you and some familiar faces, excuse me. And it's been just awesome. So we look forward to events like this where, you know, we can see some old friends and make new ones. So.
That's right. I do have friends that I do hang out with quite frequently. I tend to, like the lives are different, but Trevor DeVal lives in LA now, and Trevor and I, the thing is, one reason why we don't hang out too much is because it's a constant, doing voice interviewing. We're doing this, and it's like after we leave each other, after hanging out for a while, we're exhausted. Otherwise, I have some good friends, close friends in the industry. One of my friends are through sports, through squash, squash. And there was Norman through hockey. We have our hockey friends. Where are you, Norman? Is he here? There he is. Share the passion for sports and other things and that, but I have some crazy friends actually. Oh boy. Yeah, I haven't talked to Scott. I've seen Scott for years.
I know. I was kind of hoping he'd be here.
Yeah, I've seen for years.
Maybe next time.
Yeah.
All right, that's all the time we have for questions.
Thanks, you guys.